Hi, I'm Ems, aka on Dark and Wings, and in this video I'll be taking a look at the AK Interactives white colour set. Please do like, comment and subscribe, it all helps my channel out. So this is the set in question. These sets usually retail for around about £15 in the UK and about $25 to $30 US. So the set contains 6 paints. Within this, you obviously have a pure white paint. There's an off-white, a silver grey, a warm grey, a reddish grey, and a basalt grey. I was impressed by the different tones within this. So you have like some bluish greys, you have some reddish colours, you have some stone colours, some like off-white, so you can really make some interesting combinations when you're painting up some white on different types of miniatures. If you haven't worked with AK before, they come in a standard 70ml bottle. I really like the adaptation of the lids. It has like a little indentation so it stops the paints from clogging up. And there are a bunch of different types of ranges within the AK spectrum with different sets like non-metallic steel, etc. Perfect for different projects which you're working on. I'm going to be testing this paint out on some cool miniatures I was sent by Only Games Crate. They create this monthly subscription service where they send out 3 miniatures. There is a fantasy set and a science fiction one. I'll pop the link in the description below to these guys and we can get it. These are the miniatures in question and they're super highly detailed. I was really impressed by them. And the miniatures also come with a link to a painting masterclass on them, so from Duncan Rhodes this time. And also you do get some additional rules, such as 1-page rulebook. Anyway, after all that waffle, let's actually get around to using these white paints. So I'm starting off with the warm grey, which is like a mid-tone. This has like a nice kind of greyish sort of stony colour to it. I have worked with AK paints before, and I do have to say the range is very impressive. There's a lot of different paints within the range, and they cover super well. The paints are very opaque, they're not too thick. They kind of remind me of Vallejo in the way that they name them. And I wouldn't say they're as thick as like scale 75. You don't need to mix them up as much. They're pretty much good right out of the pot, just with a bit of water. So I purposely primed the model black so you can see the contrast and how well this goes over the top. This is a really nice colour. It's like an off-white, but you've got some interesting tones to it. And like I said at the beginning, this is something I really appreciate about this set. It's not just using like some really bland greys or some really bland like beige colours. There's some nice different tones in there. I'm going to be shading this now with the reddish grey. So this has like a really nice like reddish brown grey tone to it. So it's quite neutral. But as you can see, it does make quite a big contrast between this and the previous colour I put down. So I'm putting the reddish brown into the recesses, and then I'll probably tidy it up afterwards. AK are a brand I've only kind of recently got into in the past couple months. I got a couple random paints, and now I've got these sets to try out. I have another one which is flesh tones, which I'll be doing in a separate video. And yeah, I'm really impressed by this paint range. I think it's gradually become my favourite one, to be honest. I've just slightly thinned down that reddish brown as well, just to create some more shadows here. These paints thin out quite nicely as well to create some glazes, as they're quite thick so you can stretch them out as much as you want to. But I don't think they're as thick or as gloopy as like Too Thin Coats or like Scale 75. I think they have a nice kind of in-between consistency between like thinner paints and thicker paints. So I wanted to create some highlights, so I've grabbed some warm grey and I mixed it with some silver grey, which is like a lighter colour. And then I'm going to create some highlights. And I really like the contrast between the different colours within this. No two of the colours are like super similar, which I really like, so you can create some, like I said, interesting different tones, but you can also create some bigger contrast when you're creating some shadows or you're creating highlights, so you can create some more impact. It's a lot more impactful. So this cape is looking more white now, and we haven't even used the white or the off-white. It's all about really building it up gradually. And the majority of the paint you'll be using won't actually be pure white. So I'm using off-white here to add some more highlights. White is more about the reflections and the relationship with the other colours around it. So depending on what like the colour of the rest of the model might be, might affect the way you want to approach painting the white and what colours you would use within it. Which is something I'll probably do in a future video. So I'm just going with the pure white now, and I'm just adding this on some very sharp highlights. But as you can see now with this cape, it looks white, doesn't it? Even though the majority of it isn't actually pure white. Another thing I wanted to demonstrate to you is the capacity at which this set allows you to do like different ways of painting white. So I've grabbed some of that silver grey here, and then I'm going to be mixing some of that basalt grey into it, which I haven't used yet. And then I'm going to be making like this lighter, like greyish blue colour. I've just grabbed another miniature from those aforementioned sets, and I'm just putting it all over the cape. Again, really nice consistency, super nice flow, very opaque. Love this paint range. Now I'm going to add some highlights to this, so I'm adding some more silver grey into that previous mixture. And now I'm adding these highlights, the cape is looking more like a white tone to it, even though I haven't used any white yet, or off-white. But like I said, that's kind of the power of using these colours and building them up gradually. You get the illusion of white. To shade this, I'm just using that pure basalt grey and putting this into the recesses to create some contrast and shadows. So I'm using a silver grey, just a pure silver grey here, to add some more highlights. And like I said, it's just building it up gradually, making it more like a white tone. I'm going to be glazing in this video, but I just wanted to say it would be cool to do that, and you could like harmonise the colours better. So here are the two capes that I've painted, and you can kind of see like the different tones you can create. So on the left you have like that more beige reddish tone, and on the right you have more of a blue tone. So it just shows you like the capacity, what you can do to create white, especially with this set. This is a very versatile set in my opinion. You've got a lot of different tones to work with. If you're working on something which had a lot of white to it, or you wanted to get a bit more complicated and fancier, you could use all of these colours in combination with different hues and different like tones with them and mix them around to create something very visually interesting. And I appreciate that it's not just like plain greys or like plain beiges, they have these other different tones to them. So what you could do is simply like just pick one of the colours, like the basalt one if you wanted to for simplicity, and just keep adding some like silver grey or like some off-white to it, and then gradually build up to white. The same with like the warm grey, like that mid-tone if you wanted something lighter. So you could easily just keep adding some like of that silver grey to it and gradually build up to like white. And like the reddish grey as well, so again just start off with that colour. Keep adding like the off-white or like silver grey, and then work your way up to white. And if you wanted something like super bright, start off with that silver grey, add some off-white, and then just some pure white. So there's like a bunch of different combinations for like very simplistic painting, or if you want to get more complicated and more visually interesting. I was super impressed with this set, and I think it's a great set for the price as well. This isn't the only way to approach painting white with these colours, but I do think it's a good basis in which to start off with, and then from that you could work in some other colours like some light yellows or some blues or some blacks, etc. The one fault I do have with this set is, and some of the other AK sets, is they don't actually come with any instructions or guides. Scale 75 usually have sets like this, and they do come with instructions, and I think it will be worth just having some information or some guide videos out there. Thank you for watching. If you would like to support me, I do have the Patreon and you can donate separately. And I do have a range of t-shirts out now with Wardollies on them. All this info will be in the link in the description below. As always, thank you for watching. Remember to enjoy your hobbies for yourself. Respect the people who enjoy them in their own ways. And at the end of the day, they're just Wardollies. I will see you in the next one.